Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. Tell me this beat just doesn't hit the spot. I heard it, and the first time I listened to it, I was like, damn, this makes me feel so at home. So I was like, I had to throw it on my fourth podcast. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. I just wanted to say thank you so much for listening to the last podcast. I had so much positive feedback, and it was a really supportive environment that I was honestly really, really happy about. And I just wanted to thank everyone for listening. You really could have been listening to anything, music, your favorite artist. You could have been listening to the sounds of the world, but you really chose to take time out of your day to listen to me, and that means a lot. So thank you. Yesterday, January 25th, was my birthday. I'm 22. I had a very interesting experience yesterday that I would love to share with all of you. I took shrooms. Long story short, my friend was just last moment was like, yo, I got some shrooms. You have to take it. It's your birthday. And I did it. What I didn't think about was I was actually throwing a party at my house that day. So when everybody else was really, really drunk, I happened to just be off my ass on shrooms. I never normally get social anxiety, but this day, because I was tripping, I did. So I was like, okay, I gotta leave this party right now and go center myself. So I took this nice little walk, and in the middle of my walk, I just started thinking, like, this is my third time taking shrooms. It's so crazy to see where I was every single time I took them. So this episode, I wanted to mainly focus on my 3 different experiences on shrooms and how each one shaped my mind. So the very first time I took shrooms was at Sun God. That's basically UCSD's really big concert. And we had, who do we have? We had Roy Woods. That's who we had. We had Roy Woods. And terrible. I don't even want to start. Anyway, so I was with my ex-girlfriend at that point, and we both took the shrooms together, and that was the first time I ever started understanding and feeling any type of what genuine love kind of meant. Understanding that women, men, everybody are people at the end of the day, and I think you're not your skin, you're not your face, you're not how good you look, you're not how tall you are. Everybody has this essence to them, and that is beautiful in everyone. And whether whether you fit what society considers as beautiful or not, that essence inside everyone has the potential to be very, very beautiful. And 99% of the time is. And I think that Shroom Trip really helped me vision that, because it kind of shut down all the parts of my brain that already told me things. So for example, let's say you look at somebody, you immediately in the first second come to a bunch of these conclusions. For some reason that day my brain just didn't do that. I would look at people and I would still see a blank slate. I would be like, this person has not said anything to me. I have no idea who they are. And experiencing that side of human interaction was really, really powerful and beautiful, because I feel like I was able to interact with so many people that I normally wouldn't have. So while this was going on, I go for this walk. It's beautiful. San Diego is always beautiful, and on this day it was exceptionally beautiful. And this is something that has happened to me multiple times on shrooms, and a lot of people who have taken it have told me similar experiences with them. Basically, understanding how we play this specific role in situations, and how what is considered normal is so little, and so many actions in so many situations are considered weird. So let me explain what I'm saying. So I'm basically walking through the streets, and on Sun God, for some reason, UCSD is really paranoid. So we have a ton of security guards. There's just a bunch of gates just like leading people in all directions, and it's very like enforced and restricted. And me being on shrooms was very kind of afraid by this whole idea that, we all have to act a certain way. We have to walk a certain way. It was like, where was the freedom in all that? And I felt very restrained, because everywhere I'd walk, I'd just see a bunch of cops. So I was like, okay, maybe I'm just feeling like this because I'm at this event where they do need security sometimes, for obvious reasons. So I was like, let me just leave the campus and go to the beach nearby, and maybe I won't feel that there. So I leave the campus and I start walking. I'm off campus now. And for some weird reason, I still feel like there's this overlooking, person just telling me that you can do these things. You're not allowed to do these things. And I was thinking about it. I was like, why do I still feel like that? There are no cops here. When I'm walking down the street, I feel like, why can't I just start jumping and dancing? Why can't I just do cartwheels? Why do I have to walk a certain way? Why can't I just, why do we move a certain way? Why is it that when we talk to people, we introduce ourselves the same way every single time? everything has some sort of script. There is a certain way we talk to people, there's a certain way we dress, and even if you look in fashion, the differences in styles of clothing are so limited. You know, when we look across different cultures, we see a ton of differences. We see saris, we see there's just so many different type of ethnic clothing, and that's super cool. But when we try to look even bigger than that, even all the clothing is very, very similar. And the reason I say that is because so much of who we are is just carefully constructed to fit in these rules, to be quote unquote normal. It's so hard to stay to that normalcy because I don't know, it's just so much more fun being weird. Like, who cares about all of that? It's just annoying. Like, I can't just go sit on the ground wherever I want. People are like, oh, what's wrong with that dude? Why is he sitting on the ground? You can't just do things because you want to. If other people aren't doing it and you do it, then people look at you different. And that whole idea was just so evident to me when I was on shrooms. So I finally reach the beach and I take this nice long hike down. So it's basically this beautiful, you see the entire ocean and you take your walk down. It's called Black's Beach and I'm at the bottom. And unknowing to me, this beach is a nude beach. And I had no idea. I kid you not, I had no idea that this was a nude beach before. So I'm sitting at the bottom and I just see all these completely naked people walk in front of me. And that's when it hit me. Like, these people don't give a fuck. I just came from a place where everybody was acting a certain way. You had to fit into all these like normalcy rules that were unspoken but just existed and they just like ruled over you. And then you come down here and these people are just completely in the nude, just walking around like literally like I don't care. And that was probably the greatest feeling that I've ever felt, in that you really can be free. Even though you may feel constrained, there are so many ways and outlets that you can express yourself and be free in your thought and your expressions. And there are places where you can be free like that. And it is up to all of us to create that for ourselves, as well as expand that environment and spread it to others. And I think that was really cool, because who would have thought you could find that in a nude beach? You know, these people just come here like they just didn't care, and that's what they were doing. And it was just really powerful to me in that moment. So I finished the beach, I take my stuff and I go all the way back up. I go back into the concert. It's a lot. It's definitely very hard going from that environment back to the concert, but I went back and that was it. That was a very interesting trip. And I feel like I was 19 when that happened. And I would say that's still a really, really prominent and positive day that I always look back on. That is number 1 trip. Now let's talk about number 2. Numero dos was this summer. 21 now, 2019. I went to this rave called, I don't even remember, Audiotistic? Yeah, Audiotistic. That was in the Bay Area. I took shrooms. And this was a great experience. So growing up, there was this weird thing that I always attributed to being alone. And it was something that I always looked at negatively. If you're not walking around with friends, if you're not eating with a bunch of people, if you're not constantly talking to other people, then there's something wrong with you. Why is it that, you're not or is it because you're not capable of making friends? And I think that was just a really strong defense mechanism of mine to just limit myself on how much I used to just think in general, like screw thinking, let's just talk to people all the time and let's just constantly just distract ourselves with conversations and just never have to think. And I always had this very negative understanding of what loneliness meant. And I feel like that is also very much perpetuated, that's the right word, perpetuated by society as well. If you don't have a girlfriend, what's wrong with you? Why is it that you don't have a girlfriend? You've never had a girlfriend? That's weird. There must be something wrong with you. You never had a boyfriend? Like, why are you not always in a relationship? You can't get someone to like you? And I feel like that constant need to have other people around you. People always say it's biology, it's innate in you, but everything is always on a spectrum. There are some people that constantly need others, and there's some people that are completely fine with being alone. Human interaction is always amazing, but we need to be able to be in control of what type of people and energy we allow into our lives. If human interaction if that's all that's important, period, then we will just do anything just for any sort of human interaction, even if it's letting really toxic people into our lives. And that's where the difference comes. We need to be able to have the constraint to want human interaction, but be powerful enough to only allow the people who will have a positive effect on our lives. So my shrooms hit, I'm at this concert and I'm like, I actually kind of want to just walk around alone. All my friends were kind of just talking to somebody that was important in their life at some point or another, and I was like, I kind of just want to see what else people are doing here at this rave. Like, I just want to walk around. So I start walking around and I make new friends, and it is a very interesting experience. I just completely let go of that negative connotation I had with being alone, and I just experienced it. I just enjoyed what was going on in the moment. I was completely alone. What does that mean? I can do whatever the fuck I want. There is nobody telling me, we need water right now, we need to go to the bathroom right now, I need a yak right now, you just need to take care of yourself. And that was a really empowering moment. This is something I've noticed, and this is just a quick tangent, but this is something that's very important that I think I need to say. You can only appreciate something. I never actually scratch that. I never want to say only, because that's some bullshit. I don't know. I have no idea. This is my experience on my world, and this is what I think. I personally believe that it's much easier to acknowledge and appreciate something when you have seen the opposite side of it. I cannot say only, because of course there are people out there who may have the mental capacity to appreciate things that they've never had to experience the other side of. So to those people, kudos. But getting back to the point, I really appreciated going to concerts and things with friends once I experienced and appreciated concerts alone. Because you don't want to go to a concert because you literally cannot go by yourself. That's a really shitty reason to go with people. Don't go with people to concerts just because you're too scared to go alone. That's not a good reason. Go with people because you want to go with them, because those are the people you want in your life, and those are the people you want to experience that concert with. And I was only able to actually understand that concept once I went alone. And I realized that going alone is fun, but there's just something different in sharing happiness with people. So if any of you have ever went out with me, I love dancing, and dancing is a lot of fun. I love dancing with strangers and things, but there's a completely different energy when you see somebody you know and they're kind of shy and they're not really getting turned up like that, and then you're dancing and then they see you and then they start dancing and they start having a good time, and you kind of just spread that energy around. And that is where the beauty in going with friends is. You know, it's not taking nice pictures, not, you know, meeting new people, like meeting girls that are finer because you got that fine friend. It's really that you're able to share your own happiness, and that shroom trip really made me understand that. But it also gave me the power to understand that I can do anything alone. I do not need people. All I need is myself and my brain, and those two are best friends right there. So that shroom trip led me to be able to go to Rolling Loud completely alone and sober. That was probably one of the biggest accomplishments I've ever done. I was so proud of myself. I had a complete blast. I made so many new friends. It was a really, really dope experience. And I don't think I could have done that unless I had that alone trip on shrooms, and that and lightning. Number 2, boom, done. All right, number 3. I'm at my birthday. I'm on this walk. Quick recap to the beginning of the podcast. And I call my friend Mylan. Mylan is probably one of the smartest people I've ever met in my life. And he probably put me on one of the dopest things I've ever heard in my life, and something that I think I want to remind myself over and over again. So I'm basically just really anxious because I just didn't know how to process all the emotions that I was feeling from the trip. There was just a lot of people and a lot of love that was just surrounding me that I just didn't know how to process, because to be 100% honest, I've never felt appreciated and cared for like that. I had my parents calling me, I had my family from India calling me, I had my family friends calling me, I had all my friends from San Diego texting me, calling me, just like really appreciating me for who I was as a person, not just telling me a happy birthday, but really being like, I appreciate you for being in my life. And that kind of love and energy was just, I didn't know how to process it, honestly, and I didn't know what to do. So I called Mylan, and he said this to me, and this is a quote that I wrote down, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna tell myself this every day over and over again until I actually understand what the fuck it means, because it's over my head for right now, but I know it's something I should be knowing. Here goes. There is no good or bad. There is only acceptance of reality. Pause. I just want to break that down. So in a day-to-day basis, there's so many things that we wish we had, or that we wish we didn't have, or that we wish, was different. I'm hungry now. I'm thirsty now. I'm tired now. I'm this now. It's constantly some sort of, I don't have something that I want. And that's where it comes from. There is no good or bad. There's no good or bad outcome. There are just outcomes. For example, even if something quote unquote bad was supposed to happen, all that matters is, can you accept that is what it is? And that's what he was basically explaining to me, that all our pain comes from trying to reject and neglect what is actually happening in that moment. And that just lifted all the weight off my shoulders in a second, because I realized anything that I'm feeling, any stress that I'm feeling, is created by me. I'm basically saying I don't like the way things are right now and I want it to be different, and I'm privileged, therefore it should be different. I'm not going to do anything about it, but it just should be different because I'm Gautam. And that's just not how shit works. And when it doesn't work, the stress builds up. All those things build up because your reality is not fitting the way that you want it to be. And there's two ways to go about it. One, constantly keep switching your reality to fit what you want, and every time it's not, go on a little fit. Or just completely drop the wants. There are no wants, there's no stress. And that's what the quote keeps coming back to. There is no good or bad. There is just acceptance of reality. Wild. You can't be telling somebody on shrooms something like this. It changes them. Please. I am so glad I heard that. I'm going to keep telling myself that every day. Every time I'm stressed. What is it? There is no good or bad. There is only acceptance of reality. And that's my third shrooms trip. It was great. After that, I went back to the party. It was lit. It was extremely fun. You already know the dancing was going on. All my friends were back there. It was an extremely fun experience, and I'm really glad that happened. But those are my 3 shroom trips. So looking back at it, overall, this is what I'd have to say about shrooms. They are one hell of an experience. It all just matters what you're looking out of it and what you're trying to get out of it. My friends, they take shrooms and they have completely visual experiences. They have a ton of fun. It's completely visual and they have a great blast out of it. And that happens to a lot of people. Some of my other friends take shrooms and they have completely spiritual experiences. They feel one with the nature, they feel one with earth, and they feel energies, and it's just different. So it really just matters the type of person you are, what you're looking for out of the drug. If you're just looking for a great time, then you'll most likely have that. You'll most likely have whatever you're looking for. But I think the main thing is that sometimes shrooms can open up and make problems and issues that you have within yourself very clear. And it really just depends on your mindset and where you are in your life to be able to accept those. So for example, yesterday, if I didn't have my friend to actually kind of guide me through my trip, I think I could have been very stressed out. We have a lot of hidden stress and hidden trauma that when we take drugs like this, they are unleashed every single time. And it really just matters how ready are you to deal with the worst stuff that you have inside of you. And if you feel like you're ready and you're ready to grow and mature and just get out of, break out of those old childhood traumas, then I guarantee you shrooms is a great experience. Just have 1 or 2 sober friends around you who have taken the drug before, who are kind of experienced with psychedelics, and it's always a great experience. I highly recommend it to everyone. Again and again, I just make sure you're in the right headspace. I feel like a lot of stress comes from the idea of, oh my god, I'm going to take psychedelics this weekend and I'm really anxious for it. And I completely understand that, and it's a really it makes total sense why people feel that fear once in a while. But I promise you, it's all just in your head. There is no good or bad. There is only acceptance of reality. So good luck. Thank you so much. Hope you all like it. So let me know what you think. And if you take a shroom trip, let me know your experience. Burn it with G. I'm out.